Good afternoon, family. Thanks for checking out today's video. If you're new here, my name is Jonathan, and I created this channel as a way to record my progress as I work towards my goal of losing 300 pounds. If you'd like to join the family, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. Also, click on the bell icon so you get alerted when I go live or post new videos. If you'd like to participate on the discussion, you can join me most weekdays where I go live on YouTube, or outside of YouTube, you can consider joining a Discord I've created. There is a link for that down in the description below. Also down in the description below is a link to a Pinterest board. That is a great place for you guys to check out some of the different meals and recipes that I have been enjoying as I've been working towards my weight loss goal. Today is day 1005 of my challenge to lose 300 pounds. And it was weigh-in Wednesday today. I hopped on the scale, and it had been, I think, 3 weeks since I'd been on the scale, and I was able to lose 9 pounds in the last 3 weeks. So my current weight is 248.8, I think is what it is. And I'm really happy with the results I had over the past 3 weeks. I was nervous, and it was great to see the weight had come off pretty well. So even with all the facial hair I'm growing, I still lost weight. So I think I need to shave that, and I'll probably be down another half a pound. If anybody has any non-scale victories they'd like to share, I'd love to hear your non-scale victories. If you have any on-scale victories, I love those as well. Like I said, today is weigh-in Wednesday, so I'd love to hear how you guys are doing on your weight loss goals. If you are struggling with your diet, let us know what's causing some of your struggles. Maybe there's something we can help you out with, or something that we've gone through, and you know, don't hesitate to ask for help. And if you're succeeding with your diet, let us know how you're succeeding. Let us know how it's going and what success you're seeing. And at the end of the day, what are some things that you are doing or that you can do that will make staying on your diet easier than the alternative? Go ahead, switch over to the main here. Hold on, I gotta clear my throat. There we go. That should be better. So we got a few people checking in. Let me know if the connection is giving any issues. It looks a little bit choppy on my end, so let me know. But Cindy checking in saying hi, everybody. Christy saying hello. Tennis and Yoga Girl says hello. I'm going to walk while listening. That's awesome. Carrie says she's listening while driving. That's great. Pretty Girl's mom checking in. Hello, hello. Cindy says, great weigh-in today, John. Yes, I'm very happy about that. I'll go over it in a little bit here. Congrats from Christy. Let's see. Jean checking in saying hello. Hello, Jean. I hope you have recovered from your week of bike riding. Let's see. We got Cindy here saying that she had a scale victory today too. Awesome, Cindy. You're down 8 pounds in the last month, rocking it. Down 106 pounds since January 2022. Only 9 pounds to get to the ideal BMI of 135 pounds. That is amazing. Everybody, put something down in the chat for Cindy there. That's awesome. That's 106 pounds down. Breaking through that 100-pound, I imagine you've been fussing with that 100-pound here for a while. So breaking through to 106 pounds down is awesome. So close to that goal, and it's there. And you just keep being consistent, keep eating the way you're eating, and you're gonna get there. And I'm sure being 100 pounds lighter feels amazing. You know, obviously I've lost 271 pounds now, and that feels amazing to have that weight off of me. but the last 40 pounds has really made a difference. And so I know the next 40 pounds is going to make even more of a difference than the last 40. So keep it up, Cindy. And I'm excited to hear about when you get down to that ideal BMI of 135 pounds. Somebody says connection is in and out. Let me see if I do this, if it makes a difference. Let me know. Jean here says that she's still tired, but going to another short ride tonight. Yeah, I am still tired too. I've been trying to get some sleep, and I feel like I've been getting some, decent hours of sleep, but you have to catch up. And that's something like, just like under eating, you can be undersleeping. I've suffered from undersleeping for years in my life, throughout my life, with sleep apnea, and thinking that I was getting 6 hours of sleep. In reality, I was getting next to no sleep because of the sleep apnea. But yeah, using all that energy to ride your bike, being out in the hot sun. Thankfully, the clouds had come in the one day, because that would have been real tough. But that's great. You're getting back out on the bike and getting another ride in as well. Cindy here says you struggled with 2 pounds up, then 2 pounds down for about 6 weeks. Yes. And I dealt with that a lot throughout the second year. You're going to have that with any diet. But for me, consistency is key. And eventually, any type of stall works its way out. And if you are having it, if, at least for me, when I have had issues with losing weight or having the weight stall over the past 1,005 days, I've been able to look at my diet and say, yeah, you know what, I should, let's see. Pretty Girl's mom says, are you all still here but no John? Is it cutting out still, or is it yeah. Are you guys seeing here? He's here. So maybe try restarting the connection. I feel like I got something fixed. Now it went back to, that's weird. Let me see. All right. I see it now. It seems to be working on my end. It says excellent connection. I had my computer running a program in the background that I had closed. Maybe if yeah. Okay. So, what was I talking about? Looking at my diet. Anytime I've really had a stall, I've been able to look at my diet and say, okay, maybe you're stalled out because you're still drinking cherry juice, or maybe you're stalled out because you're having avocado toast, or too much Ezekiel bread and nut butter. And when I've looked at those things and realized, I can lower the calorie density of my overall diet, and by doing that, I lose weight. And it's been fairly consistent that I've been able to lose weight. Again, it's when I'm on plan. You could go back through the past 1,000 days and watch every one of my videos and every one of my weigh-ins. And there's a few times where I was surprised by being compliant and gaining a little bit of weight or not losing any weight. But for the most part, if I gained weight, there was a reason. There was a food behind why I gained that weight. And And so it really, you know, it's the consistency. It's doing it for 1,000 days. You've been doing it since January of 2020. So you're well over 400, almost 500 days of doing this. Um, and that's awesome. And um, that's 500 days you are away from how you used to eat and how you were. What is that? You must have been 250 pounds almost. And just how amazing it is that you're no longer anywhere near that. Like you are, you know, almost half of what you were. Yeah. And that's wild to be that much lighter. Is awesome. Let's see. I think everybody says it's working. Working in the yard, but listening in to this incredible shrinking man, says Janet. Thank you, Janet. Yes, I kind of feel like that. So last year at this time, I was 399. I'm sorry, 299 pounds. So I was 50 pounds heavier than I am now. And I looked back at the video from a year ago, and it was amazing how much difference that 50 pounds made in my face. The 50 pounds in the clothing that I'm wearing. So this shirt that I have on, this is an extra large shirt. And the pants I'm wearing are my like original goal pants. I don't think I have the photo in here, but when I first streamed, I had a photo behind me of me wearing this camouflage hoodie and a pair of tan pants. And the pants I'm wearing right now, these are the pants I wore when I was my thinnest in 2013, and I have to have them like hiked up around my waist to fit them. I'll show you guys, I guess. So this is an extra large. This is an extra large t-shirt, which I never really considered ever wearing an extra large shirt. And then these pants, they're like, oh, here on me. And my body feels thin. But I mean, these are pants that never would have fit me. Now they're driving me nuts because they're so big, and they have really long legs to them. And this will probably be the last time I ever wear these pants because they were such a task to wear all day to day because they're so big. But I was like, these are the pants I wore when I was 285 pounds 10 years ago. But they don't fit anymore. And for this shirt that I'm wearing to be an extra large shirt, like I have not worn an extra large piece of clothing since I was in junior high. And it fits well. And it gets me excited about the possibility of me being able to wear a large shirt at some time. And so it's wild. Let's go. Matthew here says you're dropping weight like crazy. Fantastic. I had a very hard week this past week, so I knew that there was a potential for me dropping a lot of weight. But yes, Matt says I'm so happy for you and proud of you. Thank you so much, Matt. And then Matt also says it's marvelous. He was a 5X, now he's a 2X. Yes, that's me, 5X. I have shirts that say 6XL. I have some shirts that say 7XL on them, even in my house, or I did. And now I'm wearing a single XL shirt, and that is just incredible, just like unimaginable. And it took, taking control of my life, taking control of my diet, being in control of everything that goes into my mouth and making sure that when I'm eating the healthiest thing I can be eating for myself. Cindy says those pants are going to trip you. Yes, they are. They have, in fact, tripped me already today. Because they did trip me. That's why I'm never wearing them again. I hurt my shins really bad because of these pants today. And it was because the back of my shoe caught the bottom of the pant leg while I was trying to take a step up. And so, yes, Pretty Girl's mom says, wow, you need a smaller size. Yeah, I mean, so some of the numbers, just thinking of the numbers or playing with the numbers in my head. So I was 519.8 pounds. I weighed in at 248.1. That's 271 pounds that I've lost. When I was a senior in high school and I was wrestling at the state tournament, I remember I weighed in, I was 271 pounds. So I've lost as much as I weighed when I was a senior in high school at one point, because by the time I graduated high school, I was over 300 pounds, but in February of my senior year, it was 271 pounds. That's how much I've lost. Being 248.8 pounds I have not been this light since I was a freshman in high school. And I had to lose weight to get, my freshman year, I ended the wrestling season. I was 250 pounds. And in order to wrestle in a tournament a few weeks after the season, I had to lose 25. Cindy Davison donated $19.99 through Super Chat. Thank you so much, Cindy. I really appreciate the donation. You say here, get some new shorts. Yes, I'm going to have to get some new shorts. These will actually zip into shorts. That's Carrie was bugging me all day that I should do that. And I probably will, because that way I won't trip. And so, but I don't know how they'll look like as shorts. I think that they're like those, I don't know, safari pants is what I'll call them. But we'll zip off the legs so I don't trip. So now I just made my pants into shorts by unzipping the legs. So I don't need the $20. But no, I appreciate it so much. That's great. And for all the support you've given me since I think you started watching me from Chef AJ. So I appreciate that a lot. So yes, 248.8 pounds. I haven't been this light since I was a freshman in high school, and I had to lose weight to be this weight. Like when I was in junior high, I was 250 pounds, and I'm now, that's 13, 14 years old. I'm now 41 years old, and I feel like a 14-year-old again. And I feel better than I felt when I was 14, probably. And that's a crazy thing to say and to think. And I guess it reminds me of something that I was talking to my brother about. I think it was from the book Born to Run, or it was one of the books that I read about distance running, that they talked about kind of the peak of your athletic performance, or the peak of your performance, and that there's a curve in, like, when they study runners, that from the time a runner is 18 years old to the time that he's 25, he is able to increase his performance dramatically. And really reach the peak of their performance around 25 years old. But then after 25 years, the performance starts to drop slowly, but it's very slowly, because what they found is that the performance doesn't go back to where it was when you were 18 years old until you get to about 60. As long as you consistently train or consistently try, perform at that task. And I think it's crazy how by the time we're 25, so many of us are done with any type of athletic competition that we're going to do. It seems like the way that things are set up, that if you haven't made it by the time you were in high school or by the time you go to college, you're never going to make it at that sport. And so there's not much reason to continue on with that sport. And with like a sport like football, that's kind of understandable because you get hurt. Like football is a hard sport. But I guess maybe you saw it more in the past. Like I have a buddy of mine that plays softball, like adult softball, but you don't see any, or many adult wrestling or adult basketball leagues. Or maybe I'm not looking for them. Maybe they're there and I just don't look for them, but it doesn't seem like they're very popular. For as popular as high school basketball is, you would think that there would be a 20 plus league around where people who didn't go to college for basketball or just like playing basketball could still do it somewhat competitively. But it just doesn't seem to be there. And if it's there up until you're 25, maybe, but where is it, when people are 40, there's not, again, maybe it's just, I'm not looking for it. And if I was looking for it, I would find it. But I feel like we look back at our 18 to 25 as our peak and that it'll never be as good as that. And it's not the reality. I'm far better now than I was at 18, 19, 20, because through those years I was 300, 350, 380 pounds. And, I'm absolutely healthier at 248.8 pounds and 41 years old than I was at 19 years old and 360 pounds. But I had to get here to realize that too, you think that as you get older, it's never going to be as good as it was when you were younger. Gene says you're going to catch the replay. Time to ride. That's awesome, Gene. Have fun out there. Be safe. And don't get rained on. Here in Iowa, you never know when it could show up. Matt had said here, wow, 7X to XL. Yes, that just a wild change, and wild to be able to kind of just look at stuff that's on the shelves or buy. I guess the event I did, Ragbri. It's kind of it's an annual thing, and they have different merchandise that they sell that are t-shirts and hoodies and different clothing, apparel things. And for years, I didn't fit in anything that they sold because they're not going to stock 6XL shirts because there's not a lot of people that wear 6XL shirts that are going to be out riding a bike for a week across Iowa. And over the years, I've been given shirts, like people might buy the largest size that they were able to find and give them to me, or um, I've had shirts over the years that I've been able to that I've collected. So I do have a variety of shirts, which is nice that I've been able to get over the years. But it hasn't been until recently that I've been able to go to the place where they sell the clothing and just like pick what I wanted off of the shelf, or off of the coat hook, and be like, yeah, I want this and it fits me. Um, and it's not just that way there, but it's at all stores that I feel confident that I could walk into a Target and put something on, or I could walk into a Walmart and find something to wear. And it was crazy that I got to the point where I couldn't do that, where I had to either order my clothing from an online retailer or go to a big and tall store that specialized in larger, men's clothing. And then that came with a premium at most of the time. So I found myself shopping their clearance rack so that I was not breaking the bank to just have clothing on my back. Or I would buy their t-shirts and kind of wear a gray t-shirt as my everyday shirt. Yeah, and Matt here is saying in the big and tall stores that are just big money. Yeah, it's I mean, I went to the big and tall store to buy a belt years ago and was blown away at the prices they were wanting to get for the belts. And so I ended up buying a belt that was too big for me, but it was on clearance because I wasn't going to pay, I don't know, 50 or 60 bucks for a belt. And then a couple weeks ago, I was getting ready for a baptism, and the belt that I had been wearing is pretty worn out. So I went to Walmart to see if I could find a belt at Walmart that fit. And I found a belt for like $8 or $9 at Walmart that fit. And it was actually probably too big now, but I wouldn't have been able to do that before. Like, and uh that's a $50 difference for a belt, for what at the time when I was my biggest would have been probably a one-time thing, and then I would have been back to my sweatpants or jogging pants that I wore all the time, because it was just easier than wearing pants with the belt. So yeah, the weigh-in was big today. I'm happy with 9 pounds in 3 weeks. That is I'm not surprised to see it. I knew that I did not eat a lot of food, and I have been refeeding or getting back into eating again. I talked a little bit yesterday about how I had kind of been down on volume of food since I got back from the trip. And I feel like I got caught up a little bit last night. I didn't even go over my food since yesterday. What did I do with my phone? I guess I can do that real quick, because I actually tried to take the photos. I got out of practice with it, and I need to get back into practice with taking food photos. So let's see. Yeah, I did take some food photos here. So since yesterday, last night, I had, and this might not show it, but this was a massive bowl of mega veggie chili. It's been weeks since I had my mega veggie chili, and it was so amazing to have mega veggie chili again yesterday. Yeah, I bet it's been 2 weeks since I had mega veggie chili. So if you've been following me, you know that that is a staple recipe in our household. It was the first food where I understood or became aware of the neuroadaptation that our body goes through when we eat new foods. I did not like this meal particularly when we first started eating it. We had it a couple times in the first 2 weeks, and after we had it the fourth or third or fourth time, uh, I looked at Carrie and I said, "This is the same meal that you've been making before?" And she said, "Yeah." She changed it a little bit, put a little bit more of some ingredient or less of another ingredient, modified it a little bit to our taste. But I fell in love with the dish. And that's when I realized that it just takes time for your body to get used to the foods that you give it. And if you give it healthy food, it's going to respond positively to that. And it's going to adapt quickly, because after you eat it and that food gets into your digestive tract and your gut bugs are able to use all the nutrients from it, they're going to send a signal back to your brain and say, "Hey, if that comes up again, I'd love to have more of it." And so then the next time you eat it, it tastes a little bit better, because your body knows that it's something that it needs. So that was our dinner last night. Then breakfast this morning was the standard oatmeal here with spinach, mushrooms, onions, steel cut oats, and oat groats with soy milk and all kinds of seasonings in there. Some Table Tasty is my main seasoning of choice. Then after I had the oatmeal, I ate a bag of broccoli with some more of the Table Tasty on it. And that is actually all the food I have had for today. I did not end up having any potatoes or broccoli for lunch. I think I have some leftover food at home that I'll be able to eat for dinner tonight. So I'm excited for that. I don't know if I got much else to talk about today. The taking control of your life. I feel like we let other people dictate and make our decisions for us. And it kind of makes me think of the Pleasure Trap book. Of course, I'm going to think about the Pleasure Trap book because that's how this whole thing got started for me. And if you have not read or listened to the Pleasure Trap, I would recommend doing it. But they talk a lot about the Milgram experiment. And it's an experiment where they were surprised to find that people would shock another person to the point of injury or perceived injury, as long as somebody in authority was telling them that it was okay, or somebody from a superior position was telling them that, it's fine, continue on. And I think that we do that with our diet and allowing other people to control our food, but then also thinking that there's people looking out for us. Like, I always thought, well, it couldn't be that bad for me, or else the FDA wouldn't let them sell it. And what I realize now, that it's more of a, once it becomes bad for people, then the FDA steps in and makes them stop selling it. But we try to use these programs to lose weight, where it's somebody else has already perfected the formula or the technique that you need, and you just have to follow what this person who's done it before is saying to do. And in a way, I guess I'm saying that here, but I'm not trying to sell you anything, and I'm not really making any money from pushing out eating a plant-based diet. And so, but we're easy to follow a crowd, and the problem is that right now the crowd is walking in the wrong direction. They're going more towards, these medical solutions and these diet programs and pill programs and meal plans and eating, just no carbohydrate, just eating all meat diets and eating abundance of dairy. And it's just awful. Jay here says, so proud of you now, Jonathan. You are eating 2 meals a day with vegetables and fruits for snacks. Yeah, I had 3 meals yesterday. I had 3 yesterday. Today it's only been 1. But yeah, it's back and forth. It's kind of, I just eat what I want to eat. And I trust that if I don't add fat to my body, I'm not going to gain any fat. And when my body needs to burn fat, it's got to go to my fat reserves because I don't have fat in my diet. And I think that is a huge component to why I'm seeing success, and also eliminating the processed items of salt, oil, and sugar. I think that those are the 2 things that make a huge difference. Tammy's checking in saying, hi, everyone. Hi, Tammy. I hope you're doing great. Sorry, I dropped something here. The Shrinking Shadow says, hello, Jonathan. You look amazing. Congratulations on your great success. Thank you so much, The Shrinking Shadow. I really appreciate the kind words. And I'm so happy that it's paying off. I'm so close. I'm 90 days away from 3 years. I'm at day 1005. The last day is going to be 1095. That's 90 days. So it's essentially 3 months. I got August, September, and October to see how close I can get to losing the 300 pounds. Even if I don't lose another ounce from now until then, I have conquered, I have won this challenge. I am no longer the person that I was when I started. And that was my number one goal, was to stop being that version of me, the version of me that couldn't help but pull into the fast food restaurant, that couldn't help but go into the gas station, that couldn't help but finish the food that was left on the table. The version of me that couldn't help but order a second meal or a second, serving. And it's, it takes 1,000 days. It takes doing something 1,000 times to understand it. I'm getting good at it. I'm good at it. I'm not great at it. It might take 10,000 times to get great, or 100,000 times to become a master. But until you do something 1,000 times and you get it in the back of your brainstem, and it becomes part of your routine, part of your life, part of your day, it's not set. I've been on diets for 2 weeks thinking I had it figured out. I've been on diets for 3 months thinking that, this is the greatest thing ever. I've been on diets for 9 months to a year thinking that I'd solved all of the world's problems. But those were not long enough. 365 days is a great accomplishment, but it's not long enough. 500 days is awesome, but it's not long enough. I'm sorry, Cindy, you got to keep going. 1,000 days is when I think you begin to comprehend. I think that you I've done all of the different things I could do. I've messed up in all the ways I think I can think of to mess up. I've succeeded in all the ways I think I could have succeeded over the last 3 years. I've experienced the every holiday 3 times. The first time I did amazing. The second time I did awful. The third time I figured it out. It's just like the Goldilocks and the Three Bears, like the first year you're too strict, the second year you're not strict enough, and the third year you do it just right. And I feel like that's how it's laying out for me. And now that I know what just right is, I can keep doing just right because I get to still eat food. That's these people that are eating these low carb, these starvation diets where they're eating a pound of food a day, 2 pounds of food a day. I mean, I commend their ability to stick to it for so long, but I don't have any food stress. My food stress is in making the food, having the food on hand, but I don't stress that I'm hungry. I don't stress that when I get hungry, I can't eat anymore because I'm going to blow through my calories for the day. Doesn't matter if I eat another pound of apples, it's 200, 300 calories. If I eat another pound of spinach, it's even less. I mean, a pound of spinach would be quite a bit, but the 12 ounces of broccoli I eat is 3/4 of a pound. And that fills my stomach and it allows me to live a satisfied life and not a hungry life. Carrie says John had 2 meals today because she forgot to bring in potatoes. It's okay. I didn't eat my breakfast until 1 o'clock. And so, no, I didn't eat breakfast till 3 o'clock. I've been busy. That's something that me and Carrie had a conversation about today is that we kind of got ourselves to the point where we're too busy. And so we got to figure a way to slow down a little bit or get something wrapped up so that we're not dealing with that. And maybe it's just that we need these kids to be back at school to give us a little bit of free time, which is probably the case is we need the kids back in school. Jay here says, just follow what Chef AJ does and eats. Yeah, I think that Chef AJ has great recommendations. I think that if I ate exactly like Chef AJ, though, that would probably be too little for me because she's only 130 pounds and I'm still twice her weight. So I'll eat what she eats, just double it. Tammy here says, do you eat a lot of raw foods or cooked foods? I eat a combination of raw and cooked foods. I am a big fan of having warm meals where Carrie is more apt to eat the cold leftovers. She'll make the the mango. There's a meal that she really likes that's brown rice and mango. That we it's brown rice that we put a mango salsa on that's like black beans and mango that is cold that she definitely enjoys more than meat. So the raw food that I eat mostly would be raw fruits, vegetables, raw. Sometimes we have salad for dinner. It's been a while since we've had a salad for dinner. For the most part, I cook or steam almost everything I eat, unless it's a fruit. I do eat, carrots if if we have a bowl of baby carrots on the counter. But yeah, we cook our spinach. A lot of times we just, whatever meal we're eating, we'll throw another handful of spinach in it. So yeah, I would say I'm more of a cooked food kind of guy. But I do eat raw fruits, which is, I think, pretty common. Cindy here says, yes, it is for a lifetime and she loves it. Yes, I do too. I fell in love with it early on though. And, it took time though. And it took, experience to like, I think I did a video on that, like dating your diet and then marrying your diet. Like I am married to this diet. I'm married to eating a whole food plant-based diet. I'm married to keeping the salt, oil, sugar out of my system. And you don't just, I think so many times people jump into a diet like they're marrying the diet right away, and then the diet fails them after 3 weeks, and so they get divorced right away. And I think that it's something where you have to try it out. You have to find what works and what doesn't work. I mean, for the first 500 days, easy, probably close to the first 700 days, I was eating Ezekiel bread with nut butter nearly every day, and I was losing weight week after week after week. But after a certain period of time, my weight loss slowed down, and I looked at the density of my diet and I said, hey, I could probably get rid of the Ezekiel bread and the nut butter. And I replaced it with broccoli. It's kind of around the time that I started adding the 2 bags of broccoli to my diet was the same time where I kicked out the Ezekiel bread and the nut butter. But that was something that I had to grow my relationship with food and change it and find that, I was satisfied with having Ezekiel bread and nut butter, but I wanted more. And in order to get more, I had to let that thing go. And, I did the same thing with, avocado toast, with cherry juice, just things that I would love to have every single day, but I know that having them causes me to not lose weight as fast as I like to, or it slows down my weight loss, I guess. Jay here says, eat more potato dishes for dinner. Potatoes are only 400 calories a pound. Yeah, we eat lots of potatoes. I don't know what brown rice comes out to per pound, but I also know that it's probably, or I assume that brown rice is probably harder for our bodies to absorb the nutrients from. Yeah. Matt here says that Chef AJ actually eats a ton of food, lots and abundance, and such a genius chef. It would be all be incredibly prepared. Yeah, if if Chef AJ is looking to make food for somebody, tell her to send some food my way. I would give it a taste test for sure. I know she eats a lot of food, and I think that people, I don't think people should be scared to eat a lot of food. It's the food you're choosing to eat that you should be scared of. The food you should be. I'm so not afraid of my food that I'll eat any amount of it and be happy. Before, when I was eating Snickers bars, you buy the king size Snickers and you're like, okay, that's probably enough Snickers for a day and I shouldn't eat any more. But with the spinach and the kale and the carrots and the red peppers and the mushrooms and the potatoes and the rice and the beans, there's no amount that is a scary amount to eat. You eat, I mean, it would be a surprising amount to eat to say that you had 4 pounds of spinach, but I wouldn't be afraid of a consequence of eating 4 pounds of spinach. And I definitely wouldn't be worried about gaining weight after eating 4 pounds of spinach. Matthew or Jay says to Matt, yeah, she eats enough for a 500-pound man. Jay's 195 and you can't eat as much as she eats. Yeah, and I think it has to do with our digestive system. I think that our bodies can only absorb so many calories in a 24-hour period. And if you're eating this way, you're always going to have food in your digestive tract for your body to be digesting. And so I really don't see a fear of overeating. Like I said, a lot of the foods I listed there before, but they got to be foods that are low in fat. I think that fat is a big key to this. I think that my diet is a super low fat diet because I don't need any more fat. I still have probably 60 pounds of fat on my body. And until that 60 pounds of fat is gone, I don't need to be adding more fat to the system. But yeah, I wouldn't be afraid to eat a bunch of potatoes. I mean, I eat when I was on Ragbride, the night that I had potatoes, I ate them until I felt like I was going to not be able to keep what I ate down anymore, essentially. And I think that we're kind of designed to do that, because if we were roaming and we came across some potatoes, we would eat them until they were gone. I believe that. I don't think we would have left any food. And I think we're adapted such that we can eat a large volume when we need to eat a large volume, or we can eat a small volume when we need to eat a small volume. Matt says that isn't Chef AJ God's gift to the world? We all are. Yes, we all are God's gift to the world. And our experiences are amazing. I think that you have to just look at the infiniteness of the universe and the infiniteness of this conversation happening, of what had to happen, the infinite number of things that had to happen before this moment for this conversation to happen. And we're truly blessed to have had all of those infinite number of things happen. So we get to experience this. And I hope that maybe you take some weight loss advice from me. Let's see. Jay here says Ezekiel toast is the bomb. You make garlic toast, avocado toast, and steamed kale sandwiches with it. Yeah, I mean, if I could keep myself from eating 4 pieces of Ezekiel toast with nut butter, I would probably have it more. Yeah, it's something that for me, putting the broccoli in my diet helped replace the volume, and it keeps me from even worrying about it. And now that I don't have it in my house, because I was the only one that really ate Ezekiel bread. So once I kind of said, well, just don't bring the Ezekiel bread in anymore, super easy. Like that, taking control of your life is taking control of your pantry, getting rid of the junk food, throwing out the food that you're never going to need to eat again. So there's no reason to hold on to it. Talking to your spouse about splitting the pantry up, or moving your stuff to a different cabinet or their stuff to a different cabinet. And removing the temptation, because if the junk food is in your cabinet, even if you say, oh, I'm strong enough, I can resist the temptation, you think about it every time you walk by the cabinet, and you think, oh, there's a Snickers in there, but I'm not going to eat it. Yeah, they're not going to get me to eat that Snickers. And then eventually, after 30 or 40 or 60 days of you keep saying, I'm not going to eat that Snickers, maybe one of those days you cave in and you say, well, I guess I'll have it today. I haven't eaten in a while. That by having the Snickers there, it was there to allow you to fail. But you also had to go through that argument every single time you walked by it, or every time you saw it in the drawer. And it's so much easier to just throw it away and never have the temptation, or give it away to somebody you don't like, to just not have the temptation. Jay here says, what is it? Maybe rice is 500 calories per pound. And then they say they have avocado, olives, and tofu, or occasional treats when you can get them on sale. Yeah, I avoid the olives because of the salt, the tofu. Again, the processing and the avocados is the calories and fat, like again, Ezekiel bread with avocado on it with some mango salsa that I picked up from Aldi's. That I think that might be my YouTube thumbnail photo is me eating a slice of that. And when I get to my goal weight, that's probably what I'm gonna make myself as a snack. Let's see. Jay says maybe want to check out Chef AJ's ultimate weight loss program for the last few pounds. Yeah, I mean, I'm doing Fa Dieting's ultimate weight loss program here, I think, for the next 3 months. We'll see how it goes with eating the way I've been eating. My activity's been up quite a bit. I might try to keep that up. And but yeah, it's I think that the diet that I'm eating now, if I'm committed to eating the diet the way I've eaten it for the last 6 months on repeat for the rest of my life, I'll be a healthy weight and I'll live a healthy weight for years and years. I'm already there in my mind, and I've already been 220 pounds since about 7 months into this challenge. And in the past, I lost weight and I was always struggling to lose weight. And after the first 20 or 30 pounds, each pound became very difficult and harder than the last. But when I was about 7 months into this diet, and I realized how I was able to eat and what I was able to eat and how I was still able to lose weight, I realized at that point that it was just a matter of time. It might not be the 1,095 days of time that I thought it was going to be when I started, but it's just a matter of time. If you eat a whole food plant-based diet with no oil, no salt, and no sugar, eventually you're going to be a healthy weight. And even if you have slip ups, even if you have times when you have to go out of town and eating that way doesn't work for you for that week, this diet is easy to get back into. It's not difficult because you're not starving yourself. Just don't bring the junk into your house. And when you come home, cook the fruits and vegetables that you were cooking before and get back into it. And you may see a bump on that vacation or bump on that, stressful situation that you had to go through of weight increase, but go back to the true north of the whole food, plant-based, salt, oil, sugar, and it'll take you back to the destination you're trying to get to. It really is the diet that we're supposed to eat. And we're fortunate, we're blessed in that infinite number of possibilities I talked about, that we have access to the variety of fruits and vegetables that we have access to. And that is something that probably our ancestors never would have had or never could have ever dreamed of having. But there's an abundance of food. You don't have to starve yourself, and you can eat an abundance of food and lose weight. I spent 20 years of my adult life under the impression that in order to lose weight, I had to starve myself, that I had to just cut calories, cut volume, order a meal at a restaurant and have a box half of it and then just eat one half of it for dinner. Try this, get on this weight loss program, eat these bars, drink these shakes. They were all volume and calorie restrictive diets, and they all go against human nature. We all want to eat a large volume of food. The Pleasure Trap talks about the motivational triad, and they talk about how we seek pleasure, we avoid pain, and we conserve energy. One of the things I think that they miss in that triad, and I think they lump it into the seeking pleasure part, but I don't think we just try to conserve energy. I think that we also try to consume energy. I think that it's a motivational square or rectangle or motivational quadrilateral. That's probably the best one. I think we seek pleasure, we avoid pain, we conserve energy, and we consume energy. I think that's the motivation of all creatures. And when you go into these diets that by nature make you go against that consuming energy thing that we have, I think that it's impossible to win. And if somebody who's not eating this way or not, is on the fence about eating this way and is an hour and 1 minute into this video, you need to give it 3 weeks of dedicated, hard, like as hard as you've worked on any other diet, and you don't have to go to the gym. It's about fixing your food. It's about fixing your pantry. It's about understanding that you've been standing in the wrong buffet line your whole life. My whole life, I would go to Golden Corral or Ryan's or wherever the buffet, whatever the buffet is around you. I don't even know. There's one that starts with an S that it's escaping me now. But my whole life, I went to those buffets, and they were lined up, and they had, the salad bar, and then the food, and then the hot sides, and then the meat, and then the desserts. I always skipped the salad bar line. I was like, well, I'm not going to walk all the way down there. I'm just going to start here where they have the hot sides, and then, or where they have the meat or where they have the desserts. But I never stood in line behind somebody getting a salad. And that's why I was 520 pounds. It's because I was in the wrong buffet lines. And now that I've realized that, and I've been standing in the right buffet line, and I've been making people wait for me to fill my plate, and that I realized that how I was messing up, and how, I get to eat an abundance of food. I need that to be pushed so hard. I think that people think I eat a small amount of food, and they think that I'm working my ass off in the gym, and neither one of those are true. I'm eating more food than I've ever eaten in my life, or as much food as I was eating before per volume. And I'm barely more active. I'm only more active because you can't be any less active at 520 pounds than, at 520 pounds, you're as inactive as humanly possible. And so being 250 pounds, I couldn't, like, just waking up in the morning and getting ready, I'm more active than I was for years. Let's see here. I missed a few different questions. Jay says, is Ezekiel bread food addiction for you? No, I don't like the term food addiction. I don't, I think that we are addicted to a volume of food, and we mistake that addiction for volume for food addiction. Like, I'm the problem with Ezekiel bread is that it doesn't fit into my volume equation right now. It doesn't fit into my calorie density equation right now while trying to lose weight. I will absolutely eat Ezekiel bread when I'm 220 pounds and when I'm 200 pounds. but right now it doesn't help me lose weight. When I add it to my diet, when I allow it to be on my buffet line that I eat from, then my calories end up going into a surplus. And until I get where I want to be, I can hold off. I can live for another 6 months without Ezekiel bread. And if I come across it, maybe I will eat it in the next 6 months. But like I said, I'm the only one in the house that eats it. So unless I say buy a loaf of Ezekiel bread, it won't be a temptation for me. Like when I was out on the road this past week, it was a slight temptation because I was walking through the freezer section buying stuff for the riders, and I saw the Ezekiel bread there, and I thought, I could grab that. It would be quick calories, but then I was like, I don't have anywhere to keep it frozen, so I'm really going to buy a whole loaf of bread for a few slices. So I talked myself out of it. So it's yeah, I think that, I guess I don't like how much the word food addiction gets thrown around, because I think that we're all addicted to food in the same way that we're addicted to oxygen. It's just the food that we're choosing to put in our body. Tammy, let's see. Cindy actually asks, your husband doesn't eat like you do. He has his shelves in the pantry and fridge. In a year and a half with his junk food around, you've never had any. That is amazing. That is awesome. That is that line in the sand you have to draw. My line in the sand has always been animal products. And I've even caved to my kids' snacks, but it's something that, the days you can chain together where you're succeeding and you're, overcoming any temptation from that, you got to look back and look at those chains and be like, there's 500 links in this chain. There's 1,005 links in this chain. There's 10,000 links in this chain. And it will help you, get through it. So that's awesome. Tammy asks, do you have any good recipes for salad dressing without the nuts and oils? I don't. Carrie says that, let's see, our mango salsa is homemade. Highly recommend. It is jalapeno, mango, red onion, red bell pepper, and a splash of lime juice. That is probably good in our salad. I actually quit eating salad dressings. I'm sure some people can give you some recommendations, but we had this mustard based dressing that we ate for years, for the first year and a half, and then decided to cut that out, I think because of the tahini in it. And so then I started just eating kind of salads that were just the fruits, or just the vegetables that were in there, like the cucumber and the carrot and the onion and the corn and the spinach and all that. And then just eating it without any dressing. A couple times we've put fruit in with our salad, and having fruit in there really gives it a great taste as well. But Cindy here recommends, or they say they like balsamic vinegar with Dijon mustard and a little squirt of date paste. Yes, those would be great. I know the California balsamics are good on salads as well. I've put that on there. Karen here says that they know 100% what to do. You guess you're stuck in the pleasure trap and you just need to get with it. Yeah, and Jay real quick here says, don't give up. Check out what Chef AJ talks about. And yeah, you are. I don't know, how to get you out of it. I'm sure that it's a big part of it is that you feel, like you don't have a better choice when you're making the bad choice. I would recommend, going to Walmart, and at least where I'm at, you can go to Walmart, you can get bags of broccoli for $1.20 a bag. And if you just add that volume of low calorie dense foods to your diet. Just start finding pockets in your day or in your diet where you can add the plain potatoes, or the potatoes with table tasty, or the potatoes and broccoli, and increase the volume of the healthy foods that you're eating. It'll start knocking the calorie density of your day down. So right now, I imagine you're eating, a lot of processed foods, or that's where you're feeling like you're having the issues, is with processed foods. Try, instead of cutting out the processed foods right away, try adding the unprocessed foods. And that way, when you get, to the end of the day, maybe you're not so hungry that you feel like Hardee's is your only solution. And maybe that gets you to the point where, instead of stopping at the fast food restaurant, you go, I think I can go another hour. I think I can go until I get home. And have the food at home, or have the food in your future. Be able to say, if I sacrifice now, at least I have this when I get home. Because when you don't have anything at home, you have to say, well, I have to sacrifice now, and I have to sacrifice when I get home because I don't have anything there. Doing meal prepping will I'm certain a lot of people would recommend meal prepping, and just try to add more unprocessed food to your diet, and see how it goes. Eventually, maybe you can, push all of it out. In a perfect world, I'd love to say that, that moderation, moderate change doesn't work. And that's what they talk about in the Pleasure Trap book, is that it doesn't work. But maybe it is, maybe it's something where you just need to start adding unprocessed food to your diet. And you'll start to see the amount of processed food that you eat and that you want to eat go down. So, let's see here. Cindy says that they're going back to nut butters. Dr. Bernard on PCRM today said the powdered PB2 has the fat removed. Just add water and it's creamy peanut butter. And then Jay said, just beware, it's only 85% fat free, 15% fat. Yeah, I'm not sure. I know I've seen people recommend PB2 before. I'm sure there's nothing wrong with it, but I really am pushing, trying to stay towards more natural stuff. I am gonna get out of here. I got some guys getting back, and it's been an hour, so I'm gonna hop off here, guys. Real quick, let me see if I missed any questions. Jay says that they were a fat vegan following Dr. Bernard. And then Cindy says it's best to keep things simple, I suppose. It is. Keep it simple, stupid, right? The KISS method. But you do have to continue to be satisfied. And so, and it's your body, and you got the rest of your life to figure out what's the right thing to do. And then Cindy here says, today you found out your local Meals on Wheels Senior Center sells locally grown produce on Wednesdays at wholesale prices. Score, absolutely. Hit that up. But I am going to get out of here. Thank you guys for the support. If you have not subscribed to the channel, get subscribed to the channel. If you've not clicked on the bell icon, make sure you do that. And if you have not started your diet, get started right now. I will talk to you tomorrow.